Brian McMahon. Centre forward where the 11 is Patrick O'Hanrahan and number 12 is Tom Fatton. On the full forward line for Ratoath, 13 is Keane Rogers, number 14 is Dottie McGowan and 15 is Jack Lanigan. There is one change to the starting line-up for Trim. Number 10, Joey Cole, is replaced by number 17, Daniel Coleman. And please note that Alan Douglas will wear the number 22 jersey. And the Trim team line-out as follows. In the goals wearing one is Charlie Ennis. On the full-back line, 2 is Kieran O'Rourke. Luke Moran starts at full-back and he wears 3, and Gerard Dwan wears 4. On the half-back line, 5 is Dermot Higgins. James Toher is at centre-back and he wears 6, and number 7 is Sean McGee. In the middle of the field, wearing 8 is Mark Malloy, and he's joined there by number 9, Dylan Farrell. On the half-forward line for Trim, 17 is Daniel Coleman. Alan Douglas wears 22. And Kieran Joyce wears number 11. On the full forward line, James Murray is 13. Mikey Cullen starts at full forward and he wears 14. And number 15 is Brian Dowling.
Danny is Danny, not Danny.
Your match officials, your referee is Mark Riley from the Gilmeston Club. His 2 linesmen are Gus Martin from Dunderry and Stephen Dowling from the Navan O'Mahony's Club.
Can you not move closer to me?
Okay, yeah. Just
move closer to halfway when we have.
I don't even plug into the second game, so I want to full batch about that.
I really need to tweet as well. I forgot all about tweeting last night.
I can unplug it on the end from swap again. It just needs its own 7%.
Could I ask all non-starting players and officials to please return to the sideline? Go around.
Is this not the... Or the mic is...
You can unplug it when the game starts.
Yeah.
I have 7%. So, Falterove, Galair, Gardee, Partolchin and New, you're all very welcome here. It's Partolchin today on the Ideal Bathrooms Meath GAA TV. You heard from Martin O'Halloran's in the match announcements today that there's one change on the official programme. You can get that on the website, it's on the social media as well on Meath GAA. That Joey Cole is not starting at number 10 and Daniel Coleman is wearing number 17 and he will replace him. The Ratoath team lines out as per programme. I said you can check that out on the Meath website and it's on the Meath GAA social media. I'll be joined on co-commentary today by Fergal Lynch from the Meath Chronicle. He's joining me back again. He's getting big mileage now to come to these games. So
how long I get up to you now?
He's just resting himself. He stood up for the whole game yesterday. He's tired no more than myself. So.
That's fat rather than tired, Kieran. Yeah, so it's good to be back in Partolchin, and as we mentioned last night during commentary and Dalkey's win over Longwood, if this game between Trim and Ratoath is
1 minute tower on the beam, again non-starting players and officials to the sideline.
Must apologise for the booming tones of Martin O'Halloran there, who will no doubt interject several times during the commentary or during coverage this evening, but he's providing a public service, has to be done. But we did remark last night that if this game today is half as good as the county final from a couple of weeks ago, then we're in for a real cracker. Of course, Trim won that game, a couple of Alan Douglas points late in injury time and extra time to get Trim over the line. They came back from the debt that day. They were 6 points down after conceding a goal with 10 minutes to go, and they looked dead and buried. But we're going to take a couple of minutes now for a minute silence for Tommy Farrell, a member of Trim.
And also a panellist and a player in the 2018 final. Cushton to me and the Meath Hurling Promotion and Development Committee would like to extend our sincere sympathies to the Farrell family and to the Trim Club. Ordeshte Gorevan Anam Dilish. I'd ask you to remain standing for our own Naveen.
Yeah, so just an immaculately observed moments or minute silence there for Tommy Farrell and Trim, tragic death during the week. As Martin O'Halloran pointed out there, Thomas is a great hurler, great clubman with Trim, and he had played in the 2018 Senior Hurling Championship with the club when they got to the final that year. Unfortunately, Thomas has passed on now, and it's left the club fairly numb over the last few days. The news of his death has really hit the club hard. And everybody in the whole club, it was saddened to hear the news. So Areshte Gorevan Anima Thomas.
Thank you, Fergal. And just interesting note that the corner forward for Trim, James Murray, has some heavy strapping on his right leg. So if that's from under 20s action for me, or is it from last week's county final, etc.?
Well, he had a busy few days. He played in the county final on the Sunday, then he played for the Meath under 20s in that All-Ireland final, and then went on and played with the club in the Premier FC Division 1 as well. So Ratoath off to a flyer there with a point straight away for Cork O'Hanlon.
Yeah, Podge O'Hanlon, Meath senior hurler, straight away. Definitely no hangover from the county hurling final. He was straight in and over the bar, and if that's the pace that's going to be set, we're in for a big day here in Partulchan. Douglas cross to James Toher. James Toher just coming inside from the middle of the field, and it's over the bar. That's one for James Toher as well. The statisticians will be hard at work today. That's 2 scores, and of course the Grow Crowley puck out is lightning, so there's no rest for the cameraman either. Straight out as Alan Douglas has a chance to shoot, and that's a score as well. So it's 2-1 to Trim here, and we haven't even elapsed the first full minute yet, and there's just a bit of an injury here, so there's a small bit of respite. Ferg, what do you say about that? That's some start.
Still writing me notes.
It's like, it just shows you the pace that's set. It's already a different sport nearly from the game we watched last night in Trim. It's absolutely a flying start.
Yeah, well, inside a minute you 3 scores, and I think one of the most notable aspects of Ratoath's play in the final a couple of weeks ago was the pace at which Grow Crowley gets the ball out. So I think while in the county final the referee was still dealing with a challenge by Kieran Joyce in the first 30 seconds that took up a minute, probably of the county final. On this occasion, Ratoath get off to a flying start, point from Padra Hanrahan, but then Trim go down 2 points in the space of 14 seconds from James Thor and Alan Douglas, their county men.
Absolutely, looks like it was potentially Shawnee McGee that was hurt. But Shawnee McGee, no problems with McGill, and James Thor plays the ball in. Mikey Cullen has the ball. He's just backtracking, heading across, but he's blocked down by the corner back. I think Conor McGill was the closest to it as Dara Kelly plays it across to the number 8, Jack McGowan. Jack McGowan into the corner here. Some decent play by the number 13, of course, that is Keane Rogers. And it's a score for Keane Rogers. So okay, we're just over on this side of the field today, not on our scaffold, just due to the inclement weather conditions and the fact that Fergal Lynch needs a computer on this side. So for a lot of reasons, unfortunately, the scaffold and we couldn't take it down that quick.
Yeah, it was a super point there from Keane Rogers, and he, I suppose, if the man of the match award had been announced 30 seconds before it had been, the game had ended, or a minute before the game had ended, Keane Rogers probably would have been the clear winner of that man of the match award. It was only Alan Douglas's late heroics. He was outstanding throughout, but his late heroics gave him the edge in winning that first ever Harry Connor Man of the Match award for the senior hurling final. But Keane Rogers was outstanding 2 weeks ago, and he's off to a flyer here again.
There's the Beano sticks over the score. Close in free. And now Grog Cowley out to the middle of the field. It's just flicked on. Daithí McGowan has a chance to lift it. Plays it across. Niall McLaren is beside him. He doesn't avail of it. Goes into the inside where Keane Rogers is fighting for possession with Sean McGee in the corner here in Partulchan. McGee gets it up. He's tackled fairly hard by Daithí McGowan. Can be flicked up. James Thor has the ball. He's evading one tackle. He evades a second. He will play it across to Dimmy Higgins. The hand is up by Mark Red Riley, the referee. He's playing advantage, which could be potentially a wise decision, I was going to say, but he just did himself out of the compliment by awarding the free back here.
Yeah, I think when Beano didn't win the ball cleanly, he brought the play back for the earlier infringement, whereas if he had allowed the play to continue, it had broken off Beano and straight to Kieran Joyce, and it looked as if he was set to bear down in goals. But in fairness to the referee, he was allowing the advantage. We're having a mother and father of all downpours of rain here. I'm not sure if that's coming through on your screen. I'm sure to make conditions even more greasy than they already were, but the pitch is immaculate here. It looks in unbelievable condition, as it always is. So it's James Ford to strike this free from inside his own 45.
Was in towards the Beano. It breaks though. The number 2, Cormac Butler, potentially picked it up off the ground, but he didn't. Tom Fadden, in fact, as Dara Kelly plays it into the corner. We had a great duel between the 2 6s in the county final. James Thor and Dara Kelly, nearly always trying to outthink each other from the centre half back position. For Mikey Cullen, has a chance to play the ball. He doesn't. The top man has it now. O'Hanrahan in the middle of the field. Parker Hanrahan plays it in towards Brian McMahon. Some good defending though by Trim, and I think it was Kieran O'Rourke got the play out. Dylan Farrell down the sideline. Mikey Cullen been on an awful lot of possession at the start of this game. This game is played on as Hanrahan from distance. Has it gone over the bar? The umpire Joe Burke waves it wide.
Mikey Cullen getting on a lot of ball over there. I noticed the 2 county footballers on the Ratoath team. Is it the 2 county footballers? It is Brian McMahon and Conor McGill, both wearing blue shorts as opposed to the white shorts that everybody else is playing. They mustn't have got the memo.
No, might be in the wash. As Conor McGill plays it back. It's a decent ball inside to Brian McMahon. Oh, that's great defending by Ger Dewan. Back to Brian McMahon. He tries to evade the tackle. Very robust and hard hitting, hurling by the Trim defenders. And I think Brian McMahon just got caught in possession. It's some excellent defending, Fergal.
Yeah, good defending. He tied him up, Brian, again, looking to exploit a bit of space, but the space just wasn't there. It's good defending, or good refereeing. I don't know what defenders are meant to do. We mentioned it last night on a couple of occasions. They can't just disappear into thin air, and that time Trim just stood him up and Brian was done for over-carrying.
And Jack McGowan, the captain for Ratoath, tries to evade the tackle. It's going to be a free out, and Dara Kelly will dutifully step across the field to take this free.
Yeah, it's heavy rain. It'll be interesting to see, will it be mistakes that decide this game in the end? Clever play by James Coher there just to flip it back to Danny Coleman, who goes back and picks it up. We'll play it back to Charlie Ennis. Charlie Ennis, all the time in the world, looks to pick out. It's Mark Malloy, but Mark drops it, gathers it again, then looks out to this right-hand side, whereas James Murray is underneath the ball. Lovely skill by James Murray just to take it down. Out 65 yards, plays it in low into Mikey Cullen again. Mikey Cullen gets pulled out of the way by Ben McGowan. Kind of no complaints there. Ben McGowan grabbed hold of Mikey Cullen's arm, dragged him out of the way. Lovely play from Trim. Danny Coleman will be happy to get settled on the ball there. It's his first start in senior championship. Did come on in the final last or 2 weeks ago, but this is his first start in the senior hurling championship, and nice to get a composed touch like that, and good play from Trim to work it down, and no doubt about the free that time, Kieran.
No, I think Mikey Cullen was just clever. I think he used his body, he stuck his posterior into the defender, and it just meant that the result was either let him go or foul him, and the foul came, and Brian Beano Dowling plays it as Gerard Crowley plays the ball out towards his own men, but it's intercepted by Trim, and it's going to be played. Alan Douglas is the second closest to it. Mark Malloy, I think, had it, or Dylan Farrell, sorry. Dylan Farrell, it's a high ball in though. Gerard Crowley will have to deal with a slippy, wet slitter, which he does. Plays it across to the number 5, Niall McLarnon, but he's just overplayed the ball. Again, that wet sliotar, as I mentioned, it's definitely a difficult skill to hit the ball in these inclement conditions, Fergal.
Yeah, well, wouldn't know much about it, Kieran. Not that football was much of my forte either, but hurling definitely, I didn't play a whole lot beyond, we'd say, under 11, which hitting the sliotar was difficult in any weather at under 11 level.
Ground hurling, I remember back in the day, under 11s was, so. Chris can be proud as Alan Douglas and Niall McLarnon, a big hit, which is great to see in the game of hurling. It's a game of physicality and skill. And there's a chance that man who seems to be everywhere for Trim, it's James Toher. Plays across to Sean Miggy. Chance to be, he's been brushed off. Pádraig O'Hanrahan now has the chance to evade the Trim defence. He's going to play it across, but again, Toher is inside, he's sweeping up. Daithí McGowan possibly the stick over his shoulder, yes, and it's a free.
I don't know, I thought that was harsh. I thought Toher came around the other side of the ball to try and protect the ball, which I thought then Daithí McGowan had every right to go for it there. I thought that was a harsh free, but it'll be interesting to see what the Trim fitness levels are like as this game wears on. 8 of them played in the Intermediate Football Championship last week against Moyle, so it's a huge turnover to have so many dual players, and they're going to be expected to play week in, week out now. So midweek is just all about recovery for these lads. Huge games every week coming now. Great catch from Mark Malloy that time, under pressure from Pádraig Byrne, who was introduced as a sub in that county final 2 weeks ago. Comes out then to Dimmy Higgins. Dimmy plays it short into Kieran Joyce. Kieran Joyce evades 2 tackles. Releases it again to Dimmy Higgins. He's bearing down in goal. Will he go for his point or take a goal? Centres it to Beano. Beano hits the crossbar and he loses the keeper threw his hurl at the ball that time. Should probably technically be a free in to Trim. The keeper threw the hurl at Beano's shot, but it came back off the crossbar. It's Mikey Cullen on the follow-up, and that goes to the left and wide. It was a let-off for Ratoath, but that would be a rules aficionado there, Kieran. Keeper throwing his hurl across the goals.
There's 2 rules applicable. It's up to the judgment of the referee. The technical foul is to throw the hurley in a manner which does not constitute danger, and then the aggressive foul is to throw the hurley in a manner which does constitute danger. So technical foul will be a free in. The aggressive one would have been a penalty in that case.
I don't think it was thrown to cause danger. It was thrown to try and get the hurl across.
So possibly a 20-metre free in then.
I thought it should have been.
Maybe it's just a slippy hurley, I think. Mark gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Good ball in from Alan Douglas, but it's cut out there again by Dara Kelly. We talked about Gary Kelly all night last night, and we're Dara Kelly to the head.
That's what we'd love to see if we get a big hit.
Ratoath in possession over on that far side of the field. They're looking to get it. It's half blocked down by Alan Douglas, which sends it back, but it's Dara Kelly who's underneath that, shovels it on to Daithí McGowan. Daithí McGowan having to come very deep to get onto the ball inside his own 65. He's challenged again by James Murray. It's still Daithí McGowan, manages to pick it up, gets on his, opens the legs up this time, sprays it out wide to the right to Potter Hanlon. Potter Hanlon has a bit of room here. When he has a bit of room, he normally takes advantage. He does this time, puts it over the bar. 12 minutes gone. Ratoath 3 points, Trim 4 points.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's over and back. It's a ding-dong battle, Fergal. And again, it's good to see the game being played again physically. Big hits coming in and the ref letting it play. I think Alan Douglas fairly planted it. I think it was either Niall McLaren or Cian Kelly potentially in that far. I think it was Cian Kelly. Dara Kelly is going to have a long strike. There'll be a contest here with Brian McMahon in the corner. And the number 4, Ger Dewan. Mikey Cullen. But it's the full back, Ben McGowan, who played it initially. And Cian Kelly, the number 7. A lot of big physical battles. It's kind of interesting to compare to last night's game. A lot more shorter than last night's game. A lot more direct play tonight, which is probably more entertaining, especially with such skillful teams.
Yeah, and every contest for the ball is almost like an arm wrestle. It seems to be a strength as to who can hold off the other and then come out with the ball. But it's Ratoath going to attack again. This time it's Niall McLaren wins the ball, picks it up to Daithí McGowan. This is danger for Trim. Ratoath Daithí McGowan really resisted that from James Soher. He comes out with the ball and would have been another major contender for man the match in last week's final. But that's superbly picked up by Dara Kelly. The 2 number 6s again showing their obvious skills. Dara Kelly looked at been fouled there by Kieran Joyce, and eventually Mark Wiley got to the right decision there. Kieran Joyce mightn't be happy with it. Dara Kelly wasn't happy that the free was coming a little bit earlier and was a little bit of aggressive then, but he was definitely fouled in earlier in that little bit of a tussle there. So Mark Wiley just consulting with his linesman here again.
Stephen Dowling from O'Matney's, bit of a swipe back, but I don't think there was any malice in it, and there was no connection with anyone. So
no, and they're looking up at the scoreboard there. I'm not sure what they're concerned about. Maybe to call a water break in about a minute's time. Not much need for water breaks this time of the year, or definitely today with the amount of rain that's fallen. Just stick the tongue out and
it's always on changing the ball.
Mark on by changing the ball, yeah.
But there's no rule for bidding it. It's the only rule that applies is to delay the game on purpose. Like, so it's only if you're swapping the ball to delay the game, it's an issue. But if you're swapping the ball,
and I think in the way the conditions are today, there's no harm to change out the ball and get a dry one in. Huge strike by Podger Hanlon and a superb point from 10 yards inside his own 65 metre line. Levels up the game. 14 and a half minutes gone. Ratoath 4 points, Trim 4 points.
it was a bit wet. I saw the water spinning off at Fergal, so we will give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's a long booming ball out by Charlie Ennis as Cian Kelly and James Murray fight for the ball. Kieran Joyce plays it low into the full forward line. Oh, and Cullen tried to just flick the ball up with a quick scoop. Dara Kelly has the ball. He's going to play it across. Tom Fadden is the man he aimed for. The ball will just die, and Fadden has a chance now to play the ball direct, which he tries to do, but he's intercepted. Pádraig Byrne was the intended target. The Beano Dowling in at corner forward. He's been well defended by Cormac Butler, who takes the ball off him in assistance with Conor McGill. And McGill has a chance now. He scoops it into his left hand. He passes it back to Crowley in the goals. It's a hard one though for O'Hanrahan to deal with. So Shannon McCabe, great game all the way from Grease. Greece, I'd say there's an S in the end of it. I'd say it's a typo. It's from Greece, I'd imagine.
Chantal McCabe, all the way from Greece. Yeah, there's some of the Trim lads are. You know, there's a couple of players missing for Trim today, and a few of the boys took advantage after the county final to soak up a bit of foreign sun. So there's a few lads away on their holidays at the minute. I'm sure they're tuned in. If they can hear the commentary well and good, if they're tuned in Magaluf watching this hurling game, young lads, cop yourselves on.
You can watch it. It'll go straight on the YouTube for anyone that doesn't want to watch it live.
You can watch it on the plane coming
Conor
home,
Quigley goes up Trim. And Ben Holden says up Trim, so maybe they are watching it live.
Boys are watching.
Some good defending by Trim. They need to get it out. McLaren, or sorry, not McLaren, it's Jack Lanigan. It's played across now to the number 9, Dylan Farrell. Dylan Farrell has a chance to play it in diagonally into the corner. Just probably slightly misplaced as the number 2, Cormac Butler, tries to connect with Ben McGowan, and Grow Crowley and Mark Riley is adjudged for a throw.
Yeah,
and I think Richie Joe Clemeston says Cork or Limerick tomorrow, but we'll come to that maybe at half time. We'll get in the middle of that.
I'm not sure. Obviously, Mark's a lot closer to it than us, so he obviously didn't see a strike in action when that Paul, I think it was, I'm not sure who it was, played it back to Grow
Cormac
Crowley.
Butler, I think, number 2, I think, was it?
Obviously saw something and is giving Trim the free in, and I noticed then Cian Kelly pulled right out to the sideline here expecting a quick puck out. An unusual miss there from Bino. It was one you would normally expect him just to tap over the bar. He's looking to, I think it's Robbie Swatman on the other side, or maybe it's his father, it's Rory, maybe having words of advice for him for taking frees the next time he's getting the towel now. It's unusual to see him missing that one, but an even and open, entertaining opening quarter, 4 points each, 17 minutes, clock stopped at 17 minutes and 34. It's hard to see who's going to win it. You couldn't call it yet. It is very even. Trim defensively looked very good. James Toher has been excellent there, swept up a couple of balls, and you could say the same about Dara Kelly down the other end. And then up front, you have to keep thanks to Downsy saying thanks to all the boys watching Santa Ponza behave.
Richie Quigley said as well, it's great to have the game on YouTube. We're trying to get as many games as possible on the stream. We're obviously, we want bums on seats here in our county grounds or in our club grounds around the county. We're trying to get ticket sales and get people to games, but as you can see, there's a lot of people that can't just get here. David Murtis is up to him as well.
David Murtis, another man who's away. David's going to be away for a little while, and he's wishing Trim the best of luck. Of course, came on in the county final a couple of weeks ago as well. And Ben Holden and Conor Quigley there as well, wishing Trim the best of luck. So all these boys, while they're away and enjoying themselves, and fully deserved a break. It's been a tough start to the year. I know everybody's back, happy to be playing football and hurling again, but a lot of these boys have put in a huge effort over the last few weeks, and an opportunity to get a week away, you certainly couldn't deny them, especially the lads like Ben there, who was part of the Meath under-20 setup as well, and winning a Ger Brennan saying Cian Down's really a Ratoath man, and James Andrews watching from the James Griffin pub. Of course, James, the new bar manager in Leenahan's there, I'd like to wish him the best of luck in his new role.
Just make sure you're watching it on your phone and not on the telly, because we don't want the inspector in after you. So.
Well, I don't think would there be any rights issues with watching YouTube up on your big screen?
I don't know.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, we don't care. Anyway, Meath GAA are happy to show it. Yeah. If you want to show it in every pub in the county, by all means,
put
please
it up
do.
On the big screen there, James. Don't mind them. Don't mind the inspectors.
No, well, we're not coming for you anyway. You can worry about someone else.
No, I don't think there would be any rights issues in terms of showing stuff on YouTube up on your big screen. So. Trim or Ratoath, I think, not sure if the Ratoath clubhouse is open at the minute. If they are, get that game up on your big screen. But if you could call it, Kieran, are you going to call it?
That's good. Jay said we're all good. So at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. I know that's easy to say when it's 4 points each, but the going has been pretty much a continuation of the county final. Obviously, the standard is just ever so slightly dropped because there's certain lads missing, but overall, it's been a flying game, and a draw match would be probably a safe bet.
The standard really dropped from there were errors and there were mistakes in,
but not really, only slightly.
Quarter. I think the excitement of the closing stages and of extra time gives the impression that it was an absolute classic, which it was in the first game, but there were passages in that game as well that weren't of the highest quality when you look back on it, but you can't expect top quality hurling for an entire, 80 minutes or 80 plus minutes the last day, and it's the same today. It's been good quality hurling, but there are mistakes on both sides.
We're definitely the best two teams in the county still, and I think they're showcasing that I would not be surprised if these two teams top this group 1 and 2 and end up playing in the county final again.
I watched Kiltale a couple of times, and wouldn't rule them out of the equation just yet. If there was a three-way dead heat, there's not a whole lot between Trim, Kiltale and Ratoath.
I think they'd be happy though for it to be played down maybe.
And I think Kildalkey would be happy enough to be played down as well last night, even though they weren't at their best, to still rack up 220. Ratoath going the attack here again. It's number 9, Paul Byrne bearing down and goal. He goes for goal.
Oh, it's in the net.
Squirms under Charlie Ennis. And that's a goal for Ratoath. That gives them a 3-point lead, and we're nearly 19 minutes down.
Some excellent running there by Pádraig Byrne. He just seemed to get free. Possibly some loose defending by the half-back line of the midfield of Trim, or maybe the lack of tracking back, maybe by the wing forwards. But ultimately, Pádraig Byrne evaded all the Trim defenders, and he was able to bury it in the bottom corner. Maybe not with the greatest of strikes, but it was a difficult one for Charlie Ennis to deal with under the weather conditions. But that will first time really we've had a bit of daylight between the two teams. But now it looks like the number 21, Arnie McGee, is coming on for Trim.
Well, a bit of daylight. I suppose Trim were 2 points up. Ratoath are now 3 points up. So Trim were 4 points to 2 up after 8 minutes. But they haven't scored in the last 11, coming up on 12 minutes now, and that will be of a concern. Whereas Ratoath have got the last 1-2 to get their noses 3 points ahead.
Mikey Cullen, is it?
So it looks as if Mikey Cullen's coming in or coming off.
Arnie McGee on.
Ashore. And Arnie McGee on.
Trim substitution. Number 14, Mikey Cullen, is replaced by number 21, Arnie McGee.
Why did he pick up a knock there? He was on a lot of ball early on in the game. Maybe it just wasn't sticking to him and they weren't happy with that. It's another effort from a free from Bino, and it's another one that's gone wide. So Trim have missed their last 2 attempts at frees. Unusually for Bino to miss the 2 of them, so Ratoath maintained their 3-point advantage, and we have 20 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock.
And the Bino is out there from his free effort. He plays it across. It's a hard one though to be done, but James Murray, he'll strike this. The result is going to be to the right, and it's going to be wide. Just a little bit disappointing from the Trim forwards.
Yeah, it's 3 wides there in quick.
Great catch by Daithí McGowan.
He plays it in centrally then into his brother Jack McGowan, captain of the team, and he plays the long ball in. James Thorpe hoping to catch on the break, but it's number 17, Daniel Coleman, who does well to win.
Oh, intercepted.
James Thorpe, but it gets intercepted by Tom Baden, and Tom Baden runs and strikes. He's claiming it went over the bar. Umpire and linesman, or umpire and referee, are in agreement that it was to the left and wide. It's a poor puck out again from Charlie Ennis, straight down to Pádraig Byrne. The danger man, Pádraig Byrne, has been picked up now by James Thorpe. Hand goes across. Pádraig Byrne went to ground fairly easy there under the slightest of challenges from James Thorpe. And it's going to be a free in for Ratoath, and this should be a tap over point for Podge O'Hanlon. Ratoath leading 1-4 to 4 points, 21.5 minutes on the clock.
And a message in from Hugh Peter Ward. He says Stephen Moriarty forced and St Brendan's Manchester to watch before training this evening. Up Trim.
Stephen, you spread the word, spread the love, Stephen.
And Keane Down said he was Ratoath Harps till he dies, and we're not going to get into the ground football. Chance for Pádraig O'Hanlon to just lift it. And it's been deemed to have gone over the bar. Paddy Riley and Joe Burke, the umpires on that end. And they've agreed that it was over the bar. Joycey and Dara Kelly contesting the ball. I think Joycey just shown his probably strength just to force Dara Kelly really to push it over the line and not risk the catch.
Yeah, Trim really need to get a score here now. You're coming up on 14 minutes. Coming up on 14 minutes without a score, and it's just starting to get away
What's
from
going
them.
on
It's
here?
4 points between the games, and Kieran Joyce and I think it's number 7, Keane Kelly, is it? So Kieran Joyce and Keane Kelly is having a little niggle at Joyce, and Kieran Joyce trying to...
He's never backed down in his life. He's not going to start now.
No, picked up a yellow card inside 10 seconds in the county final, so he's not going to be one that will shy away. Keane Kelly holding on to his hurl there.
Sean Fitzgerald is up Trim from Portugal.
Jesus, is there anybody left in the town?
And Red Riley, the referee, says there's too much mess in here. He's going to throw it in. No harm to get the game going.
Mighty scramble. It's Mark Malloy who's trying to bring it out with his feet. He has his hurl. It's dropped in, and it's number 2, Kieran O'Rourke, who picks it up. Kieran O'Rourke tries to move back, tries to flick it in the field, but Dylan Farrell is met by the shoulder of Ryan McFarlane. Ryan McFarlane gets it under Pádraig O'Hanlon, plays it into the space where it's young Danny Coleman then is up against Keane Rogers.
Oh, good defending.
referee is going to give a free in here. I think this might be a very harsh call, is it? Or is he going to give
He must be giving it on the jersey, is it?
I'm not sure. He's given the free
Out, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
It's a big call from the Trim management to leave young Danny Coleman in on Cian Rogers. Danny, a very capable hurler, but hasn't played too many minutes at this level. In on top of Cian Rogers, who I think he scored 1-9 from play in the county final, if I'm right. An outstanding hurler. But Danny, after probably a little bit of a nervous start, has really settled into it and marshalled Cian Rogers superbly at that time. But Ratoath have control of this at the back again, and it's Dara Kelly who comes out with the ball, and he's been chased down by Jimmy Higgins, but Dara Kelly is just keeping him at bay. Ball goes to the ground. Dara Kelly is looking for the free, and Mark Riley obliges. Bit of a harsh one again, maybe the referee might say.
It's our water, the hurling
Higgins.
carrier with no hurley. Not supposed to be on the field at all.
So the Jimmy Higgins probably pulled up there just for swinging the hurl, not wildly, but just kind of waving it in front of Dara Kelly as he was going through front, if that makes sense, waving it in front from behind. But he was just kind of dangling the hurl in there without really trying to maybe tip the hurl or anything, and the referee said that was illegal, and this should be another tap over free then for Podger Hanrahan. 25 minutes gone. It's Trim 4 points. It's now Ratoath 1-6, and that lead is extending every minute.
So Charlie Ennis with the puck out to the left-hand side of the field. There's 4 players contesting, but it will come to Dahi McGowan. Has 14 on his back, but is definitely playing more in a central midfield role. And it's a line ball. It's been signalled by Gus Martin from Dunderry, or Moyer Lena on the far side here in Partalton.
So now coming up on 18 minutes since Trim last had a score. They've, and their last 2 scores before that were both Bino Dowling frees. He's missed 2 frees since then, and they had another effort off target as well. So Trim have kind of stuttered in their, despite a bright start. The water break really didn't serve them any good at all. They missed a free just before the water break, missed another one straight away after it. But they're really struggling to get scores on the board now.
Good ball out to Niall McLarnon. What a ball.
Niall McLarnon has the freedom of Partalton here to take control and strike it. He does. And that's over the bar from Niall McLarnon. It's very loose from Trim and an easy point for Ratoath. They stretch the lead out to 6 points.
Yeah, Trim probably just playing second fiddle at the moment as the ball comes out to Danny Coleman here on the right-hand side. Tries to play it to the full back, Luke Moran, but Luke is dispossessed by the absolute dogged Podger Hanrahan, who tackles ferociously at every opportunity. Just hit him in the hand with the ball, or when he had the ball, I should say.
Yes,
looks like James Murray's taking over some of the free taking.
It's Ratoath who have come out from that water break. Have really come out from that fired up, and they've won 3 on the board to no score from Trim in the 10 minutes since. A little bit of banter going on between the Trim supporters and the Ratoath supporters. But James Murray standing over this from his own 65. He strikes it. It looks on target, and it is on target. And that's a super score from young James Murray. Carrying on from where he left off in the All-Ireland Under-20B final. That's Trim's first score in almost 20 minutes, 19 and a half minutes since their last score. And that gets Trim 5 points, Ratoath 1-7.
It's a great, what would you say, attributes to have as a Trim squad, that you can just take the Beano off the frees, and someone like James Murray comes on, debatably the best free taker in the county at any level. So it's such a, it's a massive hit here on the sideline by Jimmy Higgins. Did Jimmy Higgins hit him late after the ball? It was a massive hit. We got it on the camera, so you can check it back. But it was a massive hit.
Taken out his book. I didn't see it. I was writing my notes on that James Murray score.
The ball possibly went over Niall McLarnon's head, and Jimmy Higgins just, I wouldn't say he hit him too dangerously, but he definitely stepped across him, hit him in the chest. So I'd say he'll get a yellow card. Well, that'll be at a minimum now. I'd say the yellow card is coming at a minimum. Yep. Possibly if there was a different colour card in the game of hurling, you could debate that, but in club hurling it's very simple. Play on, free, so tick, yellow or red, and it was a yellow.
So So a different colour card. Are you saying somewhere between yellow and red, or somewhere between nothing and yellow?
No, I think it could have been a black card if that was the case, because he took him out of the play. But in that case, rough play, to engage in any form of rough play, I think was the rule that Mark Riley is quoting. But I don't know why the other yellow cards come. Maybe there was a bit after.
I think there was a bit of a reaction there, all right, and that's a yellow card for Keane Kelly. And his own players actually stepped in to pull him away from the scene of any alleged crime in there.
So Mark Riley is going to throw the ball in, I think. He's looking for two players that aren't going to kill each other, I think.
I think he threw it in between two trim players. They certainly weren't.
And the Ratoath men have it, so.
Well done, Martin Loy, who takes it out of that bit of a huddle. Played out to Sean McGee. He plays it in. It's Bino trying to get onto the end of it. But it's good play by Porrick Bourne again, just to sweep it away and give himself a little bit of room to go out and pick it up. But it's over the head there of Jerry Dwan. Jerry Dwan just misses and cutting it out as Podger Hammerman as he's falling back off his right hand side.
Well, a carry.
And it looks
wide.
as if it's just going to the left and wide. We're 29 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock. It's Ratoath 1-7, Trim 5 points.
Just the shoelace has been tied here by Jack McGowan in the middle of the field. He's up and he's ready to go. Possibly 2 minutes, maybe minimum, to be at it. Fergal.
Yeah,
no sideline official today.
No sideline official. A bit of one or two little yellow cards to be dished out, and not too many injuries. So maybe a minute anyway.
And there was one sub, so definitely 1 to 2 minutes.
A bit of a tussle on the far side is Dylan Farrell and James Murray in there for 3 minutes. James Murray, who comes out with it, plays it back to Danny Coleman, I think, and Danny, or is it Sean McGee? He plays a brilliant ball in. Alan Douglas gets underneath him, but he drops it first time. It's Conor McGill for company out there. McGill stands him up, but Alan Douglas loses the hurl, appeals for a free, and once he appealed for the free, he gets the free in. I don't think there's any doubt that he was being held up. With Mark Riley.
Rory Down's going to reciprocate. He's going to come on as the hurley carrier with no hurley to wipe down the stick. So I think once both teams are at it, I think we're happy enough.
I know it's technically against the rules to do, but it's on the day that's in it.
I think when both teams do it, it's okay for it. That makes sense.
That's it, yeah. In this case, two wrongs do make a right.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for some of the Trim players that are watching holidays, if you can tell us the mystery of the number 12 jersey, was it ripped in the football champs of the weekend? We're trying to figure out why Alan Douglas is not wearing the number 12. He's wearing the number 22 today.
So that was a successful free from James Murray. It narrows the gap back to 4 points. We're a minute and a half into injury time here.
It's a dangerous ball. It comes across. The number 15, Lanigan has it. Has Lanigan put it over the bar? It's a great score by Jack Lanigan, the corner forward. It's a great bit of play by Jack Lanigan. Charlie Ennis. So James Andrews says with respect to Tommy Farrell, so that's why it is, and that makes perfect sense now that we've been reminded, so that's why it is, Fergal.
Yeah.
In respect to Tommy Farrell. So thanks for that, James Andrews. So the Beano plays it across. Chance for Kieran O'Rourke. Mark Malloy. Fergal's getting a phone call. Maybe he's not doing a good enough job in the commentary. They're telling him, I don't know. But it's half time here in the Ted Murtagh's Clothing and Footwear Trim Senior Hurling Championship. Ratoath are leading on a scoreline of 1-8 to Trim 6 points. We'll be staying on the air, so don't turn off your live stream. So just keep on this link. If you have any comments or you'd like to direct us to talk about anything that happened in the game, please feel free to comment. We'll try and entertain you as much as possible, but maybe it's your chance to go get a cup on tea and relax for a few minutes. So you're welcome back here in Partulchan. Charlie Sheridan says, come on, Ratoath. They're leading on a scoreline of 1-8 to 6 points just as we get ready to start this second half here in the Ted Murtagh's Clothing and Footwear Trim Senior Hurling Championship. And you're watching, of course, on the Ideal Bathrooms Meath GAA TV on our second day of Club Championship coverage here on the YouTube page. So the ball is thrown in by Mark Riley, Kilmessan match official. And Daithí McGowan from Ratoath, the first man to get it out of the ruck as it just leaves him, goes back into it. Centre forward, plays it across. Dabino Dowling has a chance. Again, that centre half back, Derek Kelly, tries to evade tackles. It plays down the wing. Sean McGee has a chance to play the ball in. Well played by Niall McLarnon. Butler has it, or Jack McGowan. So Charlie Sheridan says, please say Ratoath. Please up Ratoath from Charlie Sheridan. And Charlie Sheridan, up Ratoath.
From Charlie Sheridan.
From Charlie Sheridan. As Mark Riley says, advantage, and he's going to give it.
Yeah, what exactly is the advantage rule, Kieran? Referees kind of varies between referees to hold the hand up for 3 seconds, some hold it up for 8 seconds, some hold it up.
It's been altered this year to reflect the intercounty that it's 5 seconds, but it's only for aggressive fouls that are denying goal scoring opportunities. It's trying to be tightened up that you can't give it for a throw ball, for example, or pick up off the ground. It's only an aggressive foul, and it's supposed to be goal scoring or to take advantage of time and space. That's the line they've added in, time and space.
Okay.
So if a cornerback's getting pulled, you're not supposed to give him you're not give him the free and not let him play on.
Okay, so where Brian McMahon is, or where Podge O'Hanlon is lined up now to take this free, is where Mark Riley is after bringing play back because no advantage accrued.
Exactly.
Can't exactly see where a goal scoring opportunity.
But it could be time and space.
There.
We had a chance to break through as well. It's time and space is the other side of the goal scoring.
So it is very subjective and it's not really a firm rule, is it?
No, but the 5 seconds is probably...
that's gone to the right and wide.
The 5 seconds should be, but then again, it's very subjective. You're passing the time. It should be. That is a clear cut, but unless you're going to start saying 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, you could be in trouble. But I think it's like most things in the GAA. It's just a bit all up in the air and it's a bit of crack. We enjoy it, isn't that it, Fergal?
We love it. We just enjoy it. We love it. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. And that's a strike from Mark Malloy from just outside the 45 minutes.
That's over the bar.
That gets Trim off the mark. 2 minutes into the second half. A lovely strike from Mark Malloy that brings the deficit back to 4 points. It's Trim 7 points. Ratoath 1-8.
And that's exactly the kind of pace that Trim will want to set to get back into this game. And it's a long ball in to the full forward line. I think it's Keane Rogers they're aiming for inside.
Well marshalled again by young Danny Coleman. Fair play to Danny, breaks it down superbly then to James Toher, who just knocks it back to his county colleague and clubmate in goals is Charlie Ennis. Brilliant ball by Charlie to Dylan Farrell. Dylan Farrell from his own 65, low ball into Dino. Dino gets out in front of Ben McGowan. Still doesn't come away with the ball.
It's a good hit.
Well hit there by Andy McGee. Holds up Ben McGowan, but it comes out there. It's Thomas Butler coming out with the ball. Under pressure from Dino. Gets it back across his line. Moving the ball slowly out. It's with Jack McGowan now. He plays it over to the terrace side here in Partulchan in the direction of Jack Lanigan. Jack Lanigan lays it back to Pádraig Byrne. Was hit late there after he laid the ball off, but as Pádraig Byrne looking into his full forward line, he plays it in, it goes over the top of everyone, and it's a foot race then, and it's Brian McMahon who'll win most foot races in the county, but he doesn't win this one against Charlie Ennis, who gets onto the ball, but he's blocked and he's out of his goals, and it's going to be Keane Rogers who'll pick it up. Keane Rogers with the flick over his head into Brian McMahon. Brian McMahon has a shot at goals, but back there on the line it looks like it's Jerry Dewan. And Jerry Dewan is there to save the ball from going into the net, but he clears it just out to midfield, and it's all the time in the world for I think it's Jack McGowan, but he sends it off to the right and wide. It was a missed opportunity there for Ratoath. Charlie Ennis did well to get out and win the ball, but couldn't execute the clearance. Superb hand pass over the head into Brian McMahon, I think it was, by Keane Rogers, but Jerry Dewan on the line stopped a certain goal and a let off for Trim.
And the play is resuming here. James Murray with the strike towards goal. It is waved wide. It's quickly moved up the field, but that is Angrog Cowley plays the ball. It's a lightning quick puck out to the middle of the field. O'Hanrahan plays it. It's super quick, but James Hoare is also super quick to read the play. He gets across. He'll look for McGee here on the sideline.
Brilliantly taken by Sean McGee. McGee into Mark Malloy. Mark Malloy gets a little tap on the elbow for his trouble. Referee gives the free. It's James Hall who plays it into space. It's going to be another foot race. It's Alan Douglas out in front this time. The hero of the county final for Trim. He steadies, has a look into the middle. It's bringing no Dowling that goes over his head. Comfortably swept up by Ben McGowan. Advantage over. Ball swept down into the corner into Jack Lanigan. Jack Lanigan is playing well. Having a good tussle over there with Kieran O'Rourke, and Jack Lanigan on the ball again. But in comes James Murray to nip it off his toe. And he plays it into Bino. Plenty of ball been played in low to Bino. If he can just get one or two of these into his hands. But again, Ben McGowan comes away with the ball. And Bino fouls, and the ball's just not sticking for Bino at the minute as it goes into him there. Good distribution by Trim. Clever play into him, but Bino, ball just not sticking to him.
No, he's just a bit frustrated. It's kind of funny. He had a relatively poor game against Nafeen in the Brendan Davis Cup semi-final by his standards, and then had an excellent county final, and maybe just dipped slightly to again. But I think again his weather conditions are playing havoc for an inside forward like himself. He likes the ball a bit easier to gather than it is. That's Derek Kelly. Has he gone over? No, Ennis Bats. Square ball called. It's always a safe option.
It's always a safe call there, yeah.
No, and you never really get found out too often as a referee, but given that square ball, it's kind of very hard to adjudicate.
In fairness to Bino, it is very difficult conditions. He's having to slide onto a wet, greasy ball, and it's never easy to meet a ball that's coming apart. Brilliant catch by James Murray. James Murray, he can't get it off. He's under pressure straight away. He needs help there. It's Kieran Joyce who's going to pick up the break. Kieran Joyce tries to shovel it back towards Mark Malloy, but it's Podger Hanrahan who nips in between himself and Luke Moran, and Podger Hanrahan picks up the pieces and puts it over the bar to restore Ratoath's 5-point lead. Mix up on the sideline here by the Trim fullback and the midfielder, and Podger Hanrahan took full advantage of it to restore Ratoath's lead 1-9 to 7 points.
Yeah, and Podger Hanrahan is lethal. He's shown himself probably to be one of the best forwards in the county in the last few years, in the green and the gold, and the blue and the blue and the gold, or the amber, maybe depends on your. If you're a painter, you might be able to tell us. I think McGee tried to fight for the ball here. It's a bit of a ruck. Back in the day, you'd see a big swinging stick flying in, but.
Yeah, thankfully those days are in the past, and you don't see that as much anymore. And it is a lot of control play with lads trying to pick a ball out of rucks like that. So we're 7 minutes into the second half. It's Ratoath 1-9, Trim 7 points. It's superb catch there by James Murray. But it's going to be a free into Trim as James takes the opportunity to dry the handle of his hurl with the towel around Rory Dowling's neck. He's right on the 45-metre line. We're right behind it, so you'll know before we know whether it's over the bar.
Well, you won't, because the big bollard here in Partolson has blocked it. So if there's any, if there's an appeal process, this video is no good to you.
Yeah, the Trim crowd are appealing for it there, but Gus Martin turns around and spreads the arms wide as if to say, "No luck, lads."
Keep.
Brian McMahon on the ball again. He gets out to it first. Plays a hand pass it in central into Pádraig Byrne, who's having a really good game. He's pulled to the ground there by Sean McGee, but he manages to get the ball back to Brian McMahon. But Dylan Farrell kicks his hurl away. No advantage accruing from the initial foul. And referee Mark Riley is given the free in to Ratoath again.
Just accidental contact, right?
Is there time and space there? I don't understand it.
But I still think the referee. Yeah, but the referee. There's like Stephen Hawking debate. Probably have to Google that if you want. The space time can.
Whatever, Kieran. Yeah.
But I would imagine that the referees try to play it more often than not. I think you usually get more benefit from playing it than not playing it. Once you don't probably allow the lad maybe flake. Oh, I thought Mark's going to take it himself.
So, and again, moving in the ball, 20 metres is it in hurling?
Well, it's 13 metres in all codes.
13 metres. Well, that's definitely brought in 30, not 13.
It couldn't be as bad as Podgy Kyle the other day. Brought in a good 25, 30 metres, I think.
Well,
I think that's to keep your lips closed. I think that'll.
Yeah, but he didn't indicate why it was for, who it was against. He just picked it up and brought it in. Not that Podger Hannon was going to miss from where it was originally, and he doesn't miss from it there either. And that makes it Ratoath 110, Trim 7 points, 9 minutes gone in the second.
Some great physical play here by Conor McGill and Alan Douglas. I think there was more contact on each other than even an attempt on the ball, as the number 5 Demi Higgins has a chance to score, and it's waved wide. But a great physical battle. Conor McGill, you can see him coming with the blue shorts as we mentioned earlier on. Alan Douglas, two big strong men. Obviously Alan Douglas is playing county hurling, he's played county football in the past, and of course McGill has played county football as we speak.
An iconic shot of Alan Douglas's point in that county final, taken by Fidji Costello. On any of the Trim social medias, you see it. It's Conor McGill looking as Alan Douglas struck the ball over the bar. McGill on the ground praying that it dropped short or went wide, but as we all know, it went over the bar in that time. But the way things are shaping up, this looks as if it could be Ratoath's day.
I think he got the ball. You have to let that play.
And he's given the free out.
Like, contact with the stick is allowed. Like, it's just not, if it's deliberate, like incidental contact is allowed, and I think that's well refereed by Mark Riley to let that
But
play.
there does have to be a controlled swing of the stick as well. It can't be just a wild swing.
Yeah, and I think that was all within the rules, I think.
Well, obviously not according to Mark.
No, at the end, I mean, the original shout against Podgehanron, I think it was a good connection. I think afterwards, I think there was pulls of the jersey, I think, which are definitely not within the rules.
Here's Cian Rogers out in front, and he turns, strikes, and he's happy with how that looks, and it's gone over the bar, and it's another point for Cian Rogers. I think that could be just his second, but it's a super score, and it further extends Ratoath's lead to 7 points now, and we are nearly 11 minutes into the second half.
And Rogers is pretty much continuing from where he left off in the county final only a few weeks ago, as Brian McMahon played a bit deeper, getting on a lot more ball. Plays the ball, James Soher intercepts the ball intended for Pádraig O'Hanrahan. Brian Bino Dowling in the middle of the field. Shawnee McGee just doesn't catch it the first, second or third attempt. I don't think he's given a free, which is right, but Fadden is played in to Cian Rogers. He plays it across. Lanigan has a chance. Jack Lanigan capitalises and co on the mistake of the Trim defence, and they will rue the poor clearance efforts made, and that probably extends the lead of Ratoath probably too much for a comeback. Fergal?
Yeah, it was just a load of errors there by Trim from here on the sideline. Sean McGee tried to get the hand pass back into the field. It didn't happen. Long ball was played in. Danny Coleman looked to have it under control, but his pass out from defence was intercepted. And then once Ratoath had the space, they had men over, were able to find Jack Lanigan free, unchallenged, and all the time in the world just to bury the ball beyond Charlie Ennis. 2-11 to 7 points. Can't see Trim producing the Lazarus again here.
And that's the number 5. I think Niall McLaren has scored that.
It was actually number 7.
No, it's number 7, Cian Kelly. I think you're right, Cian Kelly, number 7.
Yeah, so it's even the bite has gone out of the commentary there, Kieran, as I'm taking my notes. It's a bit like a silent movie at this stage, and Trim are really probably only just miming hurling really at this stage. They're not producing the same level of intensity or the same level of skill that they showed in the final. Very hard to replicate that, of course. Very hard for Trim to come back from what they did here 2 weeks ago. I'm sure it was difficult for Ratoath as well, but they probably feel as if they had a point to prove after that county final, and are certainly laying down a marker for the rest of the championship here. It's impressive from them. As we said, these are the two best teams.
It's a free, James, yeah, that's right.
It's a free for Trim.
But he's right in the sense that he blew the free against Daithí McGowan for throwing the ball, and then James Hortop was a sideline cut.
And Alan Douglas was shouting at him to tell him it was a free, and then as he went to lift it, strike it for the free, Mark Riley is saying. So Mark is trying to explain the rules to Alan Douglas there. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure.
So it's not a free anymore.
It's as good as a free from James Ford on that side. And Jimmy Higgins went for it, but unfortunately fell out of his hands. Comes to Alan Douglas, he strikes it. That's short, and the Wolf County did really well under pressure from Brian Dowling that time to win possession. Plays it out to the far side where Kieran O'Rourke gets himself under the slips as he tried to bend to claim possession. Knocked the ball out over the sideline. This is going to be a line ball for Ratoath. We have 14 and a half minutes gone. It's Ratoath 2-12, Trim 7 points. Go back to the bar, lads, if you're in Portugal, or Magaluf or Greece, if you're a Trim boys, head to the bar.
If you're in Boards Mill, anywhere foreign at all, for a Trim man.
So
There's a chance for Dahi McGowan.
Looks like Jerry Dewan was underneath it, but it breaks off Jerry Dewan down to Dahi McGowan, but it's Trim do well to scramble out clearance.
Brilliant.
That man, Keane Rogers again, he flicks it in over his shoulder into Brian McMahon, but James Toher ferries him out over the sideline and just pins him kind of WWE style out over the sideline, but the referee ways play on as Kieran Joyce down the line to Dylan Farrell. Dylan Farrell tries to run at Dara Kelly and he goes by the man in the orange boots. Good run by Dylan Farrell here. Quick hand pass into James Murray. James Murray can't
Gave him for the slap, did he?
Referee said that no advantage was accrued, brings it back and is going to give Trim the free in. Trim really need to work a couple of goals at this stage to get themselves back into the game. We know they're well capable of it, but they haven't really created any sort of a clear-cut goal chance yet. And Ian Garrow Crowley is looking good in goals. It'll have to be a good one.
Yeah, was it 2 goals and 5 points at the minute? It's a big enough lead, but at the same time in hurling, you know you can score quickly. Goals and points can come with a bit of a haste when the impetus is there, but the reality is Trim are just not showing it yet as the water break comes. So it's 2-12 to 8 points for Ratoath. So anyone that's watching, please feel free to comment here on the YouTube stream, and any talking points or discussion points, please feel free to put them in. At the moment though, it seems to be Ratoath plain sailing as we get a bit of respite ourselves. Fergal and myself were doing the commentary last night, and I have to rush off to Longwood to do the Killeen-Kilmessan game as well. So the invitation was still open to everyone that was watching last night. If anyone wants to do the co-commentary with us in Longwood, you're more than welcome to rock it in. You get in for free as well, so don't say you weren't asked. So there's substitutions here on the Trim team. They will be announced when they get down to the... And it's definitely Brian Dowling is off for Trim.
Gary Fleming is on.
And Gary Fleming possibly on number 20.
Trim substitution number 15, Brian Dowling, is replaced by number 20, Gary Fleming.
Play resumes with a puck out for Ratoath, which goes straight out over the sideline after James Murray's point just before the water break. So this could be an opportunity for Trim to get 2 successive scores, but 8-point return for 49 minutes of hurling. This isn't exactly what you would expect from Trim. A sideline cut from James Murray. It's a poor nothing, but it might make its way through to Kieran Joyce. It doesn't. It's picked up there by Keane Kelly. Keane Kelly gets the ball out to his wing back colleague Martin McLaren, but he's dispossessed with Kieran Joyce, who's shoved to the ground, no free. but it's played out then. It's James Murray who manages to get his hands on it. James Murray has put his way through 2 or 3 defenders, gets it to number 22, Arnie McKee. Arnie McKee tries to win the ball for Trevor. He loses possession, and it's Jack McGowan, captain of the Ratoath team, who comes out with the ball. And he's put under pressure there by Arnie McKee, and also I think it's 22 is in there for Trim as well.
Oh, it's Douglas, isn't it?
Oh, 22 of course is Arnie Douglas. Sorry about that. The referee has stopped play here as one of the Ratoath players on the ground holding his head. It might have been number 7, Keane Kelly. Appears to be the one who's down. Don't think it's too serious, but he's just taken a moment to regain his composure. So Trim really need to get a couple of scores very quickly and a goal or two to get themselves right back into this game. There's 10 minutes left. Of course, they trailed by 6 points, I think it was, with 10 minutes to go in the county final, or 5 points with 10 minutes to go, and managed to get themselves back level and force extra time. Of course, there'll be no extra time today if this finishes level, but Trim would take a draw at this stage.
Definitely, and at half time I suggested that it was evens enough, it was a draw match. Or you were thinking Nick Fitzgerald saying very hard to hear Fergal. I said it's very hard to listen to him, but that's a different problem maybe. But Fergal will talk up. Just probably some of the life of the game has possibly gone out of it a little bit. That's probably why we need to up our game.
Yeah, some life has gone out of me. Yeah. Maybe my tone has just gone a little bit lower, Nick. When you look at the scoreboard, it's easy to understand as a Trim person. It's hard to see a team that battled so bravely and so hard 2 weeks ago and struggling to get going here again. Bit of a collision there. Keane Kelly back on the ground again. Will probably need a little bit more treatment, but it's Ratoath to attack again, and that shot has gone to the right and wide. Mark Riley is saying he didn't see it. He's looking to his linesman on the far side for a little bit of guidance as to what might have happened. The linesman doesn't reckon he saw anything. I saw it, but I ain't going to say nothing. Those
splinters in your backside must be hurting you, but
I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm very firmly sitting on one side of the fence.
So you might get all the reviews on that in the Meath Chronicle.
No, I won't be mentioning that particular page either. Certainly.
So you can read between the lines for the viewers at home. But there's definitely some version of a collision off the ball, any of some description. If the referees have not seen it, then it'll be hard. Stephen Dowling is the linesman on the far side. If he hasn't seen it, Mark Riley has already indicated he's not seen it. Gus Martin is the linesman on the far side. He's not seen it.
Even if he did see it, Gus mightn't have saw it.
No, through, and then Paddy Riley and Joe Burke at the lines, or the umpires in that end, and they've not put their hand out to indicate anything. So Keane Kelly has gone down injured, but he's stand up, and hopefully play will resume now. And all is well that ends well.
I wouldn't say it's over yet. Puck out here from Charlie Ennis down on the right hand side. He's aimed it towards Alan Douglas, who manages to get his hand on it, but breaks it down towards Sean McGee, who gets a shoulder in the back from Conor McGill. Easy call that time from Mark Riley. Alan Douglas now looking to be the distributor this time, plays it across the face of the woods in the direction of number 21, Arnie McGee. Arnie,
he has the advantage.
Given the advantage. It's James Murray.
Need it.
Nick's gone over the bar. It's another score for Trim. 9 points for Trim. 2-12 to Ratoath. 23 minutes on.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a resurgence here, Fergal, from Trim. They're just getting a bit back into this game. They were slowly kind of fledging out of it, but they're starting to play better hurling. They need to really keep this up, though, as they gain possession. James Toher just inside his own 65. Jared Smith says, any chance of action replays? Well, there is. You can watch this stream back anytime you like on the Meath GAA page, and I think you can watch it back live through on YouTube as well. So the people at home have the action replays. Us here in Partalton have none. As Dahi McGowan evades the tackle, plays on the left side. That's going to bounce in front of Charlie Ennis. Oh, there's a chance of it. Keane Rogers and buries it.
Root for the net from Keane Rogers. Long ball in from Dahi McGowan. Brian McMahon got up, managed to break the ball down, and it was Keane Rogers who buried it to the back of the net. Was Keane Rogers?
Yeah, Keane Rogers just seemed to be left open, number 13. As James Toher gets a chance to lift it up to himself. He's under severe pressure. Bundled over the line by Jack McGowan just to make sure of it.
I'm afraid that's probably game set match. We're 12 points between the sides. Despite the clock scoreboard saying there's 24 minutes gone in the second half, there's actually not. They mustn't have stopped it for the water break as they're supposed to. So it's James Toher with the free from his own 65 metre. It's gone across the face of the goals and right and wide. And not much Trim need. They need to be taking every opportunity and need a minor miracle at this stage. They trail by 9 points to Ratoath's 3-12. And we have only 8 minutes left.
And Gerard Crowley's puckouts are coming a little bit more laboured for his lightning quick. It's definitely a bit of games management. It's that phrase that's cropped up in sport so much recently. And a chance here for another shot by the 13, Keane Rogers. That might go in the net.
Oh, it needed the touch. It needed a touch from Charlie Ennis there. I'd say if Charlie hadn't got the touch that time, that might have just sneaked in at that far corner. So he definitely a decent touch from Charlie Ennis to prevent that from going into the corner of the net. Keane Rogers really coming into this game in after a slow enough start where he was struggling maybe to get to the form that he had showed in the county final, but since then he's done really, really well. I know he's only got, I think he got 1-9 in the county final, and he's only got the 1-1 today, or 1-2 today, but he's coming more and more of an influence in this game the longer it goes on.
Yeah, and I think he will be a major stakeholder in where this county final winner will be this year for the Jubilee Cup, because he's playing some great hurling, and we've seen it in the Brendan Davis Cup as well, that he's a man who will be tightly marked in this year's championship.
So a point from that 65 from Podger Hanrahan, Ratoath Stenderley.
So Charlie Ennis now with the sliotar in hand, surveying the field. He's going to go down the middle of the field. Difficult ball to take in, but it has been taken in well by Mark Malloy, I think it is. Some quick stick work. Arnie McGee plays it back to 20. Fleming has the ball. Ben McGowan plays it. McGee, he's blocked down beautifully by Jack McGowan. Back again to the number 8, Mark Malloy. 7, Sean McGee. Some delicate play, it's nice. James O'Hare probably sees that the goal is really the only option here today at this stage of the match. A chance of a point, but I think he realises that he wants to win this match. Keane Rogers has it.
He's moved into the centre forward position after that third goal. He just throw caution to the wind. Kieran O'Rourke has come back out, kind of playing a sweeper role. Points are in the bag for Ratoath, so they're kind of dropping men deep as well. And by dropping men deep, Trim are pushing them forward, but it's going to be too little too late. We have 24 and a half minutes gone in the second half. It's Ratoath 3-13, Trim 9 points, and we've probably been singing the tune for quite a while now, probably from as soon as that first goal went in the well, probably not that early, but definitely early in the second half, when Ratoath managed to get their second goal 12 minutes into the second half to make it 2-11 to 7 points. It's been game over since then, really. They've added a third goal in the 22nd minute of the second half. Keane Rogers again, with a superb unmarked finish, of course, after decent play. But Trim probably the creators of their own downfall, with a lot of errors in the second half, and from that, for an evenly contested opening quarter, but faded out dramatically after that game, and Ratoath have definitely fully deserved this victory.
Absolutely, and I'm going to be putting you on the spot maybe in a minute or two to pick your man of the match, because I'll be like a bat out of hell here when this final whistle goes, because I have to get to Longwood for the next match, unless the company helicopter to the Chronicle have one.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to the
No, I'll be like a bat out of hell here as Arnie McGee. Oh, that's an excellent catch. Dara Kelly. A lesser man would have went with the stick, but that was an excellent catch.
Yeah, look at it, you probably don't have to wait another couple of minutes. I know there's still 4 minutes of this game left, but that catch just kind of epitomises how important Dara Kelly is to this side. He, as well as being a defensive colossus at centre back, and making catches and clearances like he's made there. There's another opportunity for Trim gone to the right and wide. He's also a platform for attacking moves and getting that ball in quickly into his forward line. So there's been a few excellent performances. Podger Hanrahan has been brilliant for Ratoath. But I think if we were to give a man match for any man, and this performance alone, I thought Dara Kelly has been outstanding.
The pantomime stuff here is getting a bit boring here in front of us. Anyone that has to listen to it, but
Out, he's behind you.
he's,
So I'm not sure if you even heard me that time, Kieran.
no.
Who the player of the matches.
No, I gather too. You have, and we'll give you a chance to change if something happens, like in the county final, because as we know, as you mentioned, Rogers probably was odds on, like to get that, and only the last 5 minutes really changed that. So
There's 3 minutes left in this one, and there's 13 points between the side. I think we're fairly safe sticking with Dara Kelly.
possibly, and I think that just shows you that the Ideal Bathrooms Meath GAA TV man, the match, probably 98% sure it's going to be Dara Kelly.
Go with 99.
But a man that probably is on the top 2 or 3 candidates every game, pretty much in all Ratoath's games.
And that's been hard. They've had good performances all over the field. Jack Lanigan has been excellent. I thought Keane Kelly was decent as well. Full back line was pretty much imperious there. Ben McGowan coped out everything that was thrown at him. So they've just been
Even Dahi
superior.
McGowan in the first few
Dahi
minutes,
McGowan.
like they all had just probably a team display that really.
Yeah, Brian McMahon has caused plenty of trouble in there as well with his pace and just his energy. Trim just haven't been able to get up to that speed at all. Whether it's a hangover from the county final 2 weeks ago, Ratoath have greater hunger probably to try and improve that. That was an off day for them, but this certainly isn't close to par for Trim at all. They're definitely way better than this, and I wouldn't rule them out of having a major say in this year's championship game.
Definitely, and as Murray has a chance to play it out, definitely missing the few players that they are. Obviously, both teams played football championship the weekend. We're taught a lot to prove amongst themselves first and foremost. But sometimes games just take on a life of their own, and you're never destined to have the same game twice. I think Mickey Hart always famously said that he doesn't like the word replays because there's no such thing as a game that will be replayed, if that makes sense. That every game has its own unique slant. As Dahi McGowan bears down on the goals, 3 men on him.
Nope.
Just gone to the wide of the goalpost, and it won't be a score for Dahi McGowan. 31.5 minutes played. So we'll be ending this stream pretty much on the final whistle. So if you have any,
the clock is wrong. There's 28.5 minutes played
sugar,
of the second half. So
I might need a guard escort along with, or else tell the guards to get out of the way.
take your time, Kieran.
I will. The game can't start till I get there. Or is that the ref?
But you won't see it if you don't make it.
No, through. Dahi McGowan just been shepherd. That's a massive heave-ho over his head, but it gets there.
Yeah, they just still look the hungrier side. Trim are just kind of living on the edge now, just fighting for scraps. You know, they're not as tight as you would expect them to be. They're dropping balls, like losing that ball there. Mark Malloy having to scramble for a ball that looked to be comfortably his, looked to be on his knees when he picked that up. Pat shifts it on to Sean McGee. Sean McGee still looking for that out ball into the corner. Kieran Joyce gets barged through the back. The sun in his eyes clearly didn't see that one.
Hurt the knee as well of Joycey. Hopefully he's all right.
Hopefully he's all right, yeah. And some sarcastic jeers or ironic jeers probably that Joycey got a bang there as Keane Rogers turns and knocks that one over the bar. He's definitely moved closer to the man the match contender, Keane Rogers, but we'll still stick with my original choice of Dara Kelly. But a super score there from Keane Rogers to make it. Ratoath 3-14, Trim 9 points, and we're now 18 seconds into injury time.
The game is just coming to a conclusion here in Park Talton. Now, that's just epitomises Trim's day out, I think.
Yeah, again taking the note, didn't see it there. Kieran, explain what happened.
He just went to double lift it after. Failed to lift it the first time. He can strike the ball on the ground, but you can't lift it again from a free.
Too many rules in this game. Just let them at it.
The technical ones are nearly the ones that are the good ones that make sense to keep the game playing. It's the aggressive ones I think people get most frustrated with because the tackle is very hard to define.
This could be Trim's last attack. It's in with James Murray, definitely one of Trim's better players on the day. Plays that ball into space with nobody making that run in. It's still in Farrell nearly trying to chase it down from 40 yards out. In fairness to him, he worked hard to get there, but it just didn't get there. Ball's going to drop under Danny Coleman. But
Come on, Red. Tumeston are playing at 6:45 and we're in a hurry.
Kieran O'Rourke then gets that ball central in towards Kieran Joyce trying to get on it. But he doesn't. It's actually not Kieran Joyce. Ratoath go on the attack again here. That's going to drop short. Kieran Ennis should, or Charlie Ennis should take that at his ease. 31 minutes and 40 seconds gone, and it's Alan Douglas still foraging hard here to try and get Trim on the board again. He plays it in centre into James Murray. James Murray's strike was half blocked down. The road Crowley comes out with the ball. It's still there for a pull. Kieran Joyce pulls, but it comes out then to James Toher here and inside the 13-metre line, but pushed very much to the left. It's Alan Douglas again. He strikes it low.
Oh.
Kieran Joyce tries to pull it. So it's a late challenge in on the goalkeeper, and that's the full-time whistle.
That's it. So slán everyone, and if you're back with us, we'll be in Longwood hopefully in about 40 minutes.